for me, it's just it starts, I think, from this man over here, Carmelo. So when I was 10 years old, actually, my stepbrother had a best friend who was actually Charlie Tuna from Jurassic 5, and so they were 3 years older than me, and they were graffiti writers. And so I used to go out with them. We used to sneak out of the house in the middle of the night, and we used to go piece all over the city, and I would just help them. I would be like lookout, or I would help them like just fill in. They wouldn't really let me do much more than that, but they were like, oh, we gotta go to this, we gotta save our money to get $5 so we could go to this club called Radiotron. And they kept talking about Radiotron's the shit, man, you gotta go to Radiotron. And it was like this, there was this like mystique about this club in MacArthur Park called Radiotron. So we got enough money and we went, and it was this scene that was happening that was, you know, break dancers, you know, there was graffiti. What I remember, graffiti on the walls, and it was just like this electric place. And my mom's like, yeah, you're gonna go to Radiotron tomorrow and we're gonna see what's up. And we pull up, and my mom, you know, talks to Carmelo, and I think.
But I remember I remember the day your mom took you there, and she told you, go in there and survive. I remember, I remember those words, you know, go in there and survive. And when Osomali was 15, when they had their when Osomali had their quinceanera, I talked to your mom and I go, hey, do you remember when you told Wil-Dog, go in there and survive? And she goes, yeah. She goes, you were my daycare. That's when she told me, you were my daycare. But back then it was 50 cents for 11 to 7. 50 cents.
Well, I went to Radiotron when I was like 11, 12 years old. And during that time, before that, I had, you know, hip hop was in, my cousins that were also part of the Siberian Nights, and they supported them as well. But I remember the first time when I went to Radiotron, my mom would loan my cousin, which is Miguel, shout out to Miguel, my Uncle David, rest in peace, and all my family that they were in the hip hop culture at that time, which was mostly men. And so me and my sister were the females, right? And we were younger. And so I learned how to do pop locking footwork from them. And so I consider myself an original beat girl, but I mean, you don't see me, you know, doing that now, but you know, kind of, you know, but I consider myself that too. And I remember going in there, and it's just like, the circle and like the graffiti, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I just so remember now, like it's just like, oh, like, you know. So that was my first moment of seeing a space full of youth and just culture and just being so excited, you know, like just being there. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but I know it meant a lot in my heart. So I want to say thank you, Carmelo. Like it was like that was a place I knew that I felt safe, you know, and it was just like everyone was young, kids like myself too, you know, older and then young kids like myself, all ages and all colors, you know. I remember that.
It's not just having a space, because a lot of people say, wow, you know, I could feel the energy, this is real.
Yeah.
But it's not really the space, it's the spirit of the people.
And when the energy is for something bigger than you know, I realize that, like, that the reason why Ozomatli has the spirit that it does is because, yes, we are provided with the space that we could do. What do you want to do? Like, what do you want to do? The bigger purpose was the space. So the energy around it wasn't like, oh, I want to start this band that's like this and this and this. It's more like, come jam for something outside of you that's communal. And that was the spirit behind why we were able to get people, you know. And it gave me this feeling that I remember having as a young person when we were creating, how scared I was of being homeless again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And how I needed stability in my life. Mm-hmm. And although I was so down for a Peace and Justice Center, like I really needed like some more stability.
Space is very vital, and I feel like even from that time till now, I still have to fight for space, just like you do. like we do, because we're about moving forward with the culture, the unseen, and to provide those spaces that are necessary to be able to continue to build as a community is very essential. So we're getting pushed back and others are getting pushed forward,
When I was 3 and 4 years old, my parents just used to take us to MacArthur Park. And I remember playing, like on King Solomon. King Solomon was a monument on 7th and Parkview, which was across the street from Radiotron.
Yeah.
It got taken away.
Right.
But I remember as a child, I used to play on top of King Solomon and give him noogies. And, I didn't know who King Solomon. Now I know who King Solomon is, right? But we've lost not only that monument, but so many others and so many lives, so many people.
Yeah.
So now I'm back in MacArthur Park. Will's back in MacArthher Park.
Yeah.
We're back in MacArthur Park, and that's a space.
Yes.
And I'm gonna do my best to work to revitalize, to restore, to preserve, and to make that space work for everybody. Because I think that space is it's a symbol of not only the community, but it's a microcosm of the world.
It absolutely
because
is.
Everybody has gone through there at one time or another, from the indigenous original people to all the immigrants that have come. And there's actually monuments and art pieces attesting to that.
This community this community is us. That community is also Mali.
Yes, exactly.
Because it's multicultural.
And that's what I don't want to lose, the next generation that's growing up. You know what I mean? That has that experience with different types of people from all over the world, that they can walk into a community and feel like they're in that country.
And that kind of communal sharing or cultural exchange is very vital to our survival as humans. My thing is bringing back to what you're saying is Ozomali represents Los Angeles, right?
Yeah, we rep it. We
all
rep
the
it.
way,
Yes.
100%. And also the energy of the Peace and Justice Center and that passion that we have to change the world, to change ourselves, to do these revolutionary acts of daily care, of caring for each other. That's where we create change in the world. We have to go back to honoring our ancestors and remembering wherever we go, right? To honor the land and give land acknowledgement first and foremost, and also acknowledge those communities that are being pushed back and acknowledge that they're there too and support them and create space for people. It's vital to our survival. That's it.
That's what's up.
That's the last word. You got the la palabra.